Dear Leo, welcome back to your sacred space here on Eternal Mindfulness. If you've landed on this video today, it's not by chance. This is your divine moment because the universe is placing 6 powerful numbers directly in your energetic field between June 26th and 28th. And if you understand how to receive them, they could open doors to financial growth, better health, and deep inner clarity. Let me ask you something. Have you felt lately like something massive is building beneath the surface? Like a new path is being carved for you not through noise, but through quiet signs? If so, take a deep breath and trust that your soul led you here for a reason. Over these next few days, Leo, a wave of cosmic alignment is bringing 6 high-frequency codes into your orbit. These aren't random numbers. Each one is infused with celestial intelligence, carrying a vibration that matches a very specific part of your personal evolution, from your mindset around money, to the way you care for your body, to how confidently you express your purpose. And let's be honest, as a Leo, you're not just here to survive. You're here to lead with light, to make bold choices, and to own your rhythm unapologetically. But even a lion sometimes forgets how powerful their roar truly is until the stars remind them. This is one of those reminders. Each of these 6 numbers holds a key. Not to some external jackpot, but to the internal structure that allows abundance to stay, not just arrive. In today's reading, we'll decode exactly what those numbers are, what part of your life they are activating, and how you can align with them practically and energetically. This is a roadmap, and it's been tailored specifically for you, Leo. But before we go any further, let me pause for a moment and thank you truly. Your presence here, your likes, your comments, your shares, and your subscriptions, they do more than support Eternal Mindfulness. They build a magnetic field of conscious community. You're not just a viewer. You're a co-creator in something sacred, and your energy is deeply appreciated. And believe me, dear Leo, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this message. What the universe is revealing today isn't surface-level advice. It's a cosmic download designed to help you shift from chasing to receiving, from hoping to aligning. So take this as your confirmation. The signs are real. The timing is perfect. And the numbers? They've already started knocking on your door. If even one part of this message is already resonating with you, I invite you to comment below and write, "I align with the 6 numbers of wealth." Let it be your way of anchoring the energy into your field and declaring to the universe, "I'm ready." Now, let's begin this journey together, because what's waiting for you on the other side of this alignment might just be the breakthrough you've been preparing for your entire life. Leo, when number 18 appears in your energetic field, it is not just a number, it is a mirror held gently before your inner world. Its frequency vibrates in rhythm with the moon, calling you inward, asking not for action, but for attention. This is not the energy that rushes forward, it's the energy that listens, that feels, that remembers what has been quietly whispered within you all along. And when you allow yourself to meet that stillness, something profound begins to unfold, the wisdom that comes not from thinking harder, but from softening into what you already know. The moon in tarot associated with number 18 often carries with it a veil. It doesn't reveal through clarity, but through intuition. What you see under moonlight is not always what it seems. And yet, it is precisely this ambiguity that invites deeper truth. You are asked here to stop looking for clear answers and start trusting the feeling beneath the surface. Not every path needs to be brightly lit to be the right one. Sometimes, what's dimly glowing in your chest holds more accuracy than what's laid out on paper. In astrology, the moon governs your emotional tides, your cycles of rest and renewal, and your deepest internal needs. And Leo, while you often shine from the heart outward, number 18 is guiding you in the opposite direction from the stillness inward. It asks, what have you been ignoring simply because it cannot be seen or measured? What emotion have you pushed away because it didn't fit the story of strength you felt you needed to embody? True courage is not the roar that's hard, it's the silent decision to sit with discomfort long enough for it to become clarity. And that's exactly what number 18 is offering you right now, a sacred space for recalibration, one breath at a time. Physically, this is a moment to pause and protect your inner landscape. Your body is not a machine, it is a living vessel that communicates constantly, especially when you slow down enough to listen. Deep sleep becomes more than a recovery tool, it becomes a form of nourishment. Reducing your screen time, especially before bed, allows your nervous system to return to a softer rhythm, and writing down 3 simple moments of gratitude each night sends a message to your body that it is safe to rest. You are not lazy for needing more stillness, you are wise for honoring your rhythm. And in finances, the moon's guidance is just as clear, even if subtle. This is not a time to make decisions based on urgency, fear, or external pressure. If something feels rushed or cloudy, it likely is. Wait until the fog clears. When your heart is unsettled, it cannot anchor wealth. But when your energy is calm, money knows exactly where to flow. There is an ancient teaching that says the truest knowing comes not from accumulation, but from emptiness. It is in the silence between thoughts, beneath expectations, beyond judgment that the most accurate answers arrive. Not because you force them, but because you finally created enough space for them to enter. So when number 18 visits you, it is not asking you to move faster, it is asking you to listen deeper. To notice the moments your body tenses before a choice, or the gentle flutter in your chest when something feels right. These are not just reactions, they are sacred information. They are signs. And you are already fluent in this language, you just need to remember how to speak it again. If you felt tired without cause, emotionally sensitive, or drawn toward quiet lately, that's not weakness, it's alignment. The moon never shouts, but it speaks. And right now, it's speaking through number 18. Are you willing to listen? Leo, after the gentle reminder of number 18 that asked you to listen inward, number 41 arrives as an anchor, a steadying presence that calls for order, focus, and thoughtful structure. If number 18 speaks the language of feeling, number 41 speaks the language of form. It brings the energy of Saturn, a planet often misunderstood. Saturn doesn't demand perfection, it teaches patience. It doesn't punish, it sharpens. It invites you into a sacred kind of responsibility, not to impress others, but to create a life you can trust yourself to live in. When you see this number in your field, it's a signal that the next phase of your expansion will not be fueled by spontaneity or speed, but by a quiet devotion to routine and rhythm. Just as a tree roots itself deep before it reaches toward the sun, this number invites you to look at the foundations beneath your outer brilliance. What habits are supporting you? Which ones are quietly draining your energy? What spaces in your life feel held and which ones feel like they're constantly being patched? The tarot card that reflects this energy is the Emperor, the sovereign presence who doesn't need to control everything, because he has already laid down the structure that holds everything in place. This is not about rigidity. It's about alignment. The Emperor knows that freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want, whenever you want. It comes from having systems that free your mind, energy, and time for what truly matters. In practical terms, number 41 asks you to become more intimate with your daily patterns. Not to judge them, but to understand them. Do your mornings begin with intention or reaction? Does your day unravel from a place of grounded choice, or does it get pulled by every external request? Creating a consistent routine, especially with sleep, meals, movement, and digital boundaries, is not about becoming robotic. It's about cultivating the kind of stability that your nervous system can rely on. When your body knows what to expect, your energy becomes more available for creativity, intuition, and meaningful action. In your financial world, this number is especially potent. Set aside time, even just once a week, to review your money, not from fear, but from clarity. Where is your energy going? What patterns are repeating? Track your spending, even the smallest transactions, not to obsess, but to observe. Every cent tells a story. Every purchase is a reflection of value, of emotion, of attention. And when you meet your finances with grounded consistency, you begin to reclaim your role as the steward of your own abundance. There is a simple teaching: when your outer world feels chaotic, it's often mirroring the places within that have gone unattended. And the inverse is also true. When you create gentle structure not as a cage, but as a container, life begins to meet you with more grace. The universe flows more easily through what is prepared to receive. This is a time to commit to your rhythm, not out of obligation, but out of reverence for your own energy. To give yourself the gift of being well held. To slow down enough to design your week with care. To trust that discipline is not about denial, but about directing your power where it matters most. So ask yourself honestly, have you been building systems that serve your future self, or have you been improvising your way through exhaustion? Are your habits making room for the life you want, or are they silently keeping you in cycles that you've already outgrown? Number 41 doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present. To keep showing up, especially on the days that don't look glamorous. To build something stable enough that your soul can rest inside it. Because the truth is, freedom doesn't come from having nothing to hold, it comes from knowing what holds you. After building structure with number 41, number 06 arrives like a gentle breeze, reminding you that discipline without love becomes burden, and consistency without joy becomes a cage. The energy of 06 is ruled by Venus, a planet not just of romance and beauty, but of value, not market value, but soul value. This is the number that brings you back to the question: do you remember how to receive? Not what you earn. Not what you achieve. But what you allow yourself to feel, to hold, to enjoy simply because you exist. So often, Leo, your fire blazes outward. You give, you lead, you protect, you shine. But when number 06 whispers through your field, it asks you to soften the outward performance and return to the inner altar. It doesn't question what you're creating. It asks, from what space are you creating it? Are you building a life to prove your worth, or one that naturally reflects it? Are you offering love only to be seen as generous, or because you remember that love is your native language? In tarot, the Lover's card speaks to choices, not just romantic ones, but choices made from alignment rather than fear. At its core, it challenges you to love from a place of clarity, not confusion. And sometimes, the most radical expression of love is not falling for someone else, but finally turning toward yourself with reverence. On a practical level, the energy of number 06 asks you to practice devotion, not indulgence. It's not about luxury, it's about remembering you are worthy of care. This could look like choosing to put on the soft shirt you save for special occasions and deciding today is special. It might be treating yourself to a quiet breakfast instead of skipping it in the name of productivity. Or it could be as simple as massaging your neck after a long day, not because something is wrong, but because you deserve softness even when things are going right. Your body listens. Every time you choose rest, nourishment, or even adornment with intention, your nervous system interprets it as a signal: I am safe. I am cared for. I am allowed to enjoy being alive. This is not ego. This is restoration. In certain teachings, it's said that true generosity starts with self-honoring. That we cannot give what we don't first recognize as ours to hold. Without a well of replenishment, all our giving becomes negotiation. But with self-love, giving becomes overflow. In finances, number 06 holds a subtle but vital lesson. Spend not from emptiness or impulse, but from meaning. Instead of chasing status or using money to numb discomfort, try investing in things that strengthen your spirit: a book that changes your inner world, an object that reminds you of your own beauty, or a moment of comfort that teaches your system it's okay to receive without guilt. When you use money to reinforce your values, rather than cover up your wounds, it becomes a tool for healing, not just survival. This number doesn't just visit to remind you you're lovable. It shows up to invite you into the experience of loving yourself as a daily act, not a concept. As the foundation of every other relationship in your life. Because what you tolerate inside, you repeat outside. And what you honor within becomes a mirror for how others show up for you too. So maybe pause and ask gently, what are you constantly delaying because you've convinced yourself you don't deserve it yet? What have you said you'll enjoy after the project is done, after you've lost weight, after things calm down? What if today was the moment? What if there's nothing left to prove and only presence left to feel? Number 06 doesn't demand anything from you. It simply reveals the ways you've forgotten to include yourself in your own love story and offers you the chance to begin again. After the gentle call to self-love from number 06, number 55 enters like a gust of bold, undeniable momentum. Its arrival shifts the energy dramatically, not to rush you, but to remind you that clarity often comes after motion, not before it. The vibration of 55 is powered by Mars, a planet of decisive energy, assertion, and forward action. If Venus asked you to feel what matters, Mars asks you to move in alignment with it, even when fear still lingers at the edges. This number doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It simply brings a rhythm that quickens your pulse and whispers, now is the moment. It is the sacred disruption that challenges you to stop over-preparing and start embodying what you already know deep down to be true. If you've been hesitating, waiting for the perfect plan, the ideal time, the external sign 55 appears as both the invitation and the confirmation. The doorway is already open. The real question is, will you walk through it? In the tarot, the chariot represents this energy perfectly. It's not about charging forward blindly, it's about moving with conviction even when dualities still exist. The Chariot doesn't need every question answered before it begins. It trusts the momentum, guided by an internal compass that's calibrated by discipline, not external guarantees. Similarly, the energy of 55 reminds you that you can hold courage and uncertainty at the same time. You don't need to feel fearless to begin, you need only to feel honest. In health, this number calls for movement that burns through stagnation. Your body holds onto indecision, tight shoulders, a clenched jaw, restless sleep, and the antidote is not more thinking. It's motion. Sweat. Breath. Expansion. Whether it's running, dancing, or high-intensity training, the point is to let your body exhale what your mind has been storing. You don't have to perfect the routine, just choose a path and let your feet start moving. The direction will become clearer the longer you stay in motion. And financially, 55 is a powerful catalyst. This is the time to invest, not recklessly, but boldly. Especially in things that expand your skill set or unlock your creativity. If there's been a course you've bookmarked, a tool you've debated purchasing, or a project you've hesitated to launch, this number says, stop analyzing the cost of failure and start imagining the return of belief. Money flows where purpose meets action. But it won't respond to waiting, it responds to energy. Especially the kind of energy that takes risks grounded in self-trust. There's a principle often taught quietly through still traditions, that a path only reveals itself while you're walking. Not before. Not in theory. Not on the sidelines. But with each step taken sincerely, even if you can't see the entire way forward. This is the art of surrender through motion. It is the paradox that change requires action, even as the outcome remains unknown. And number 55 embodies that paradox. It doesn't promise a smooth ride, it promises transformation through courage. You might be asking yourself, but what if I choose wrong? And the response number 55 offers is gentle but firm. Choosing something with your whole heart is far more powerful than waiting forever for certainty. Even mistakes become guidance when you're moving. Even detours bring clarity when you're engaged. There is no perfect timing, only aligned timing, and that timing is often disguised as a rising impulse that refuses to be ignored. So consider this your permission slip, not from me, but from the energy that's been building in your own body. That pressure you felt isn't a sign to wait longer. It's a signal that you're ready to act. Maybe imperfectly. Maybe shakily. But truthfully. What would happen if today, instead of trying to control every outcome, you just said yes to the part of you that's already decided? What if you let momentum teach you what strategy cannot? What if, instead of overthinking the next 6 months, you just took the first brave step today? You don't need a map, Leo. You are the fire. You are the movement. You are the direction. And number 55 is simply reminding you of what you've always known. The path appears when you move. When the energy of number 72 enters your field, something sacred begins to awaken, not through force or striving, but through remembrance. This number carries the frequency of the sun, and for Leo, that's not just symbolic, it's essential. You are ruled by solar light. Not just in your charisma or visibility, but in your core purpose. The sun doesn't ask for attention, it simply shines. It doesn't apologize for rising each day, nor does it withhold its light because some might prefer the dark. And so, the question becomes, where in your life have you dimmed your brightness out of fear it might disrupt the comfort of others? Number 72 invites you to reflect on the quiet ways you've learned to shrink, not because you lack confidence, but because you've been conditioned to believe that too much of you might be overwhelming. That your natural glow should come with a dimmer switch. But the truth is, your light is not excessive. It's clarifying. It doesn't compete, reveals. It doesn't demand, it illuminates. And the world doesn't need a smaller version of you. It needs the most aligned, unapologetic, grounded version you've ever dared to become. The tarot card that resonates with this number is Strength, your own archetype in the deck. But this kind of strength isn't loud. It's not bravado or domination. It's the quiet, consistent courage to return to yourself over and over again, even when it would be easier to play a role. Strength, in its truest form, is tenderness under pressure. It's grace in motion. It's the ability to remain soft without becoming weak. And for you, Leo, it's the practice of radiating truth in a world that often rewards performance instead. This number is also a gentle prompt to return to your physical body. Light isn't just a metaphor, it's something you carry biologically. Spend time under real sunlight, especially in the early morning when the body's internal rhythms align most deeply with nature. Allow your movement each day to be less about fixing and more about feeling, stretching, not to correct, but to reconnect. These are simple practices that anchor you back into embodiment, because presence is where power gathers. Financially, 72 brings the courage to advocate for your worth. Not from entitlement, but from clarity. You are not asking to be given something. You are naming the value that already exists within you. Whether that means renegotiating a salary, raising your rates, or simply being more honest about the energy exchange in your relationships, this number supports action rooted in self-respect. It's less about chasing abundance, and more about aligning with it, because abundance naturally gravitates to those who no longer make themselves small in order to be accepted. There's a deeper teaching woven into this number, often reflected in quiet wisdom traditions, that your light is your responsibility. Not in the sense of performance, but in the sense of stewardship. To deny your gifts is not humility, it is disconnection. And disconnection breeds confusion. But when you choose to embody your truth fully, with gentleness and integrity, your life begins to reflect the order of things. Inner clarity manifests outer coherence. You don't need a spotlight to shine. And you don't need applause to know that you are aligned. Number 72 is not about becoming someone new, it's about returning to who you were before the world told you to edit yourself. Before you learned to perform strength rather than live it. Before you learned to ask for permission to be powerful. And so now, the invitation is this: let your light speak first. Not through words, but through the way you move, rest, create, and choose. Let it speak through your choices. Through your boundaries. Through your expression. And above all, through the peace that arises when you no longer apologize for the space you were born to hold. Leo, if you've made it to this moment, let me remind you, you didn't arrive here by accident. These 6 numbers didn't choose you randomly, they responded to your field, your energy, your readiness. Each one reflected a specific aspect of your growth, mirroring the quiet, sometimes invisible work you've been doing beneath the surface. From the stillness of your intuition, to the steadiness of your discipline, from the gentle act of loving yourself again, to the courage of moving before everything feels certain, from the fullness of your light, to the clarity of your voice, all of it has been leading you back to one truth. Wealth is not something you chase. It's a frequency you embody. And that frequency? It's already inside you. You've tuned into it each time you made a choice that aligned with your inner knowing, even if no one else saw it. You anchored it each time you paused instead of reacted. Each time you moved with purpose instead of pressure. Each time you let go of something that no longer resonated with your truth. These numbers, as mystical as they seem, are not magic. They are mirrors showing you what's already alive within you, waiting to be recognized and expanded. So, what happens next is not about doing more. It's about continuing to choose from the highest vibration available to you. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need a perfect routine, a vision board, or anyone's validation. What you need is one moment of alignment at a time. One choice that respects your energy. One decision that says, I am not waiting anymore. I am already the version of me who receives. If you feel called, I invite you to take a small but powerful step. Write down these 6 numbers somewhere visible. Place them where you'll see them daily, in your journal, on your phone, or beside your bed. And each time you pass them, breathe in and repeat quietly, I align with the 6 codes of light and abundance. That simple declaration is not a request. It's an activation. A signal to your body, your field, and the universe that you're ready to stay in frequency, not just visit it. And now, Leo, I want to hear from you. Of these 6 codes, which one do you feel is most alive in your life right now? Which one challenged you the most? Which one made your chest rise with recognition, like it had been waiting for you to remember it? Share it in the comments. This isn't just a video, it's a space for resonance, for connection, and for collective growth. When you speak your truth, you help others recognize theirs too. And if there's someone in your life who's been walking quietly through their own transformation, who might need this reminder, this message, this mirror, send this video their way. Let them know that alignment isn't earned through perfection. It's chosen through presence. As always, thank you for being here with me truly. Every view, every like, every comment, and every subscription is not just support. It's a reflection of the energy we're co-creating here together on Eternal Mindfulness. Your presence is what keeps this space glowing. And trust me when I say this, you'll want to stay with us, because this journey, your journey, is only just beginning. You're not chasing wealth anymore. You're becoming the version of yourself that can hold it, grow it, and share it with ease, with peace, and with joy. And that, Leo, is the kind of frequency that doesn't fade. It radiates. Just like you.